Hey there, I'm so excited to show you a fantastic way to recycle, making homemade paper using egg cartons. Let's get started. First, peel off any stickers. Then, rip the carton into small pieces. Remember, the smaller the pieces, the smoother your paper will be. Since egg cartons are a bit thicker, we'll need to soften them up. Let's soak those pieces in water for 24 hours. After 24 hours of soaking, I used an old blender to turn the softened carton bits into a smooth pulp. You can also mash them by hand if you don't have a blender. Bonus tip, I drain and squeeze the excess water so I can reuse the water again. Once your pulp is ready, gather your other materials, a container filled with clean water, couching sheets, and if you have a mold and decal, that's great, but for this video, I'll be using a round strainer. You'll also need a sponge or an absorbent cloth to soak up excess water. I prefer using a sponge cause I find it easier to use. I like my paper thin, so I'll add the pulp gradually. Let's start with about half a cup first, then swirl it around to break it up. Then dip your strainer, let the excess water drip off. And then gently dab the sponge to absorb the excess water. Just look at how absorbent my sponge is. Next comes the fun part, but also the trickiest. Flipping the strainer onto your couching sheet. Don't worry, practice makes perfect. Once it's flipped, I like to press the paper gently with the sponge to smooth it out and make it even thinner. If you happen to mess up the flipping part, don't worry, just put the pulp back in the water. And repeat again. Once you get the hang of it, just repeat the process until you run out of pulp, adding more pulp and creating more paper sheets. Oh, by the way, if you notice that your paper is getting thin, add more pulp. Remember, more pulp means thicker paper. I also like using rolling pin to make the paper thinner. Just use whatever you have in hand. Once you're done forming your paper sheets, you can hang them to dry traditionally, but for this video, I'll simply stack them together and place a heavy object on top. Mine took about 2 days to dry completely. Time to peel off these beauties, just look at them. There might be a few that need a bit more drying time, but overall, they're thin and flexible. The edges are frayed, but you can always cut them for a cleaner look. To test their strength, I'll make a small envelope. It folds nicely with minimal fibers sticking out. Perfect for small gifts or secret notes. And you can also write on them and add some few decorations like a sticker. You can even make a paper flower with these papers just like this. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy crafting and see you in the next video.